Hi, everyone. Welcome to Game Changers, the Future of Play, where we explore AI, gaming, and the business of play. I'm Tony Callahan here with my podcast team, Sarah Ramos and Stephanie Ventura. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, Dr. Chris Doc Haskell, head coach and director of Boise State Varsity Esports. Since launching the program in 2017, Doc has built one of the most successful and respected collegiate esports programs in the country with multiple national championships, I think even one quite recently, across titles like Overwatch, Rocket League, and Madden. Beyond the competition space, Doc's work focuses on developing players, broadcasters, and future leaders in the esports ecosystem, blending performance coaching with education and long-term career growth. Thank you for joining us today, Doc. We're so excited to have you.
Hey, this is awesome.
Today, we're going to dive into how you've built a winning program, how you think about developing these talents, beyond the gaming world, and what the future of collegiate sports looks like. So thank you so much for joining us.
You bet. This is fun.
Now, you've been at Boise State for a little while, but what led you to step into the esports realm and build the program kind of from the ground up?
I've been a faculty member since when was it? I think 2007, in one form or another. And we started the program in 2017. So this is my 19th year as a faculty member here. I started in the College of Education, taught standard technology classes, moved into master's and doctoral instruction, mostly in games. I summarize my move into esports since it's such a long origin story with a haiku. You ready for a haiku?
Yes.
Okay.
Do it.
Professor, research, esports is going to be huge. Oh crap, I'm in charge. There we go.
I love it.
Good one.
Nice and simple. I love that. Well, it's, you saw the trend and you took advantage of it, right?
We were in what I describe as the second generation. I mean, the people who instructed me are people like AJ Dimmick and Mark Deppy, and Kathy Chong at UCI, folks like Kurt Melcher, Dan Clark. They were willing to give me information in a time where there weren't that many schools that were doing it, and we brought the idea forward in the university, not knowing who was going to be in charge of it. But hey, this could be pretty big. It in starting in late 2016 and early 2017, and it got adopted quickly. I think we were somewhere in the early 30s of schools to adopt, and we were the third FBS school
Wow.
behind Utah and Miami, Ohio.
Wow. Very early. Oh my goodness. I love that. And what a success story from then to now. You
It
know,
helps to be in early.
yes, yes. What would you say were the experiences that kind of most shaped how you approach your coaching and your leadership style today?
So here is this will be painfully evident here in just a second, but I've been coaching for a long time, not esports. I've coached football. I've coached band at a very high level, WGI and Bands of America level groups. So preparing really talented soloists to play as a group is something I've been doing for a long time. And so I felt like this was a really kind of a natural fit. I mean, I do miss my old 24/7 schedule, 24 hours a week, 7 months a year as a faculty member. It's much more intense now, but I feel like coaching, in the early 2000s, especially football, helped me to do what I do now.
I like that. Would you say it's similar kind of coaching physical sports and esports, or are there some kind of stark differences? What do you think?
Oh, the biggest difference is that the esports players come in as the experts. They're the high elo players who know the game better than anybody does. I've never been a player at that level. In football, you tend to be an older person who can't play the game as well, but you played it back in the day, leather helmets kind of thing. You can't do that with esports because they don't care about the games that we were good at. Oh, you don't even know. GoldenEye was my jam, right? You know, trying not to screen peek, and they don't get that. It doesn't translate. So you have to be willing as a coach in today's era to learn from the players and to really get them to share what they know. Most of coaching is making sure that we have a coherent plan and that everybody understands their role in that plan and that that information comes through the players so that you can fortify it for them. Sometimes, you can offer an observation that they haven't seen because they've educated you as well as they have. But the game knowledge comes from your challenger, your champion, your GM players, your SSL players, and it has to be translated back to them into a working plan. That is the fundamental difference of coaching sports, which most of us played and maybe played at a high level, to coaching games where the current meta may completely shift how we want to play something.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. It's cool to see the connections between, the physical and the digital world. And, in this role, of course, you're interfacing with a lot of young people. So how do you
Yeah.
kind of define success beyond just the wins and championships, which are very impressive, but, developing these young people into not just players, but, successful
Yeah.
humans?
Well, I mean, a lot of people measure success with wins and championships, and we do keep track of that, but the true success is like just in the foundation. Success is about the kind of people we add to our program, right? I like to say we recruit some of the top players in the country and their moms, right? It's a shared commitment to get a young person to become a mature person and through college, right? Um, as they graduate, and we've got a number of folks that played their last game in Las Vegas this last week. Are they more disciplined? Are they better people? Do they have better habits? Are they healthier? Do they respond in the right way? Those are all measurements of success that are really important to us and the things that we focus on daily. Because if you focus on those things, talented players often perform much better. And then you can count the other things. But number of rings or trophies is not nearly as important as the number of people that become amazing people. It helps when you pick the right ones coming in, um, but they're not fully formed. We can help with that, and so that's success to me, right? If you don't have that, if you just focus on winning, you're going to come up short in the long run. There's always that point in the season where character is the most important thing in comms, right? It doesn't matter how much time we put in, how well we know the maps, how many reps we've had, what the strategy is. If they can't adjust, they fall apart.
I love that. Seems like a well-rounded approach for
It
sure.
has to be. It has to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
And
I have a question really
go
quick.
ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, Tony.
Mhm.
No, 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 go jump in.
So I'm thinking about sports being such a scholarship driven program, right? You're looking for the players, you want the best ones on your team. Does that
Sure.
happen with video games?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll give you a quick glance at it over there. That's like recruiting board. It's been thinned down a little bit,
Wow,
but
Cool.
we're tracking anywhere between 200 and 300 players across 4 games that are in high school. We recruit out of high school um, because they're gonna come to college and their acumen as students is really important. Right. We get contacted a lot by people who've tried the pro scene and they're like, well, I guess I'll go to college. Those folks aren't typically as successful. They don't necessarily want um, college as much as they feel like they need college. And some of them are like, well, I can still play in college, right? So
Yeah.
um, that did that answer your question, or did I dodge it? Was not trying to dodge
No,
it.
no, no, that totally answered
All
it.
right.
Yeah, I got it. So scholarships are valid over video game play. That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
I
Very
love
new.
that.
I've never heard of that before.
It's cool.
How big is your team?
Any Yeah, it depends on where you draw the line because we have a couple of developmental squads who are not scholarship, right? Scholarship players is usually about 20 to 24 per year, based on our teams. We scholarship Overwatch, Rocket League, and Valorant, and some partial scholarships in Smash.
Okay.
We also scholarship broadcast students and technical people. We have so and we have some B teams and some games that we compete in that we support. We just call them supported titles versus, it's the club over there playing it. They come in sometimes to do it. No, we support them. We get them in leagues. We help them, but we don't offer for them coaching and scholarships in the same way, but we help them organize and get them in team gear and stuff like that, and get them on the broadcast and things like that. But so about 30 to 35 students are in our competitive part of our program.
Mhm.
20 of them or so scholarship. And then we have 35 student employees who earn a wage to put on the broadcast that we do.
Very nice. Do you happen to see AI like playing a role in the broadcasts or in, maybe assistant coaching or helping with gameplay?
Yes, but not in the way you think, right?
Mhm.
So we use AI often to develop broadcast assets. We need a ticker. Let's do an HTML5 ticker. So here's what I want to look like, and here are the details, and here's all the data that we want to be able to put in it. Oh, and here's the Google Sheet we want to connect it to so that it'll feed from that, and then we mess with that. Oh, okay, we've got that. So that's an AI coding type of thing.
Mhm.
Um, I don't have it with me, but I used AI to help me code a couple of coaching tools that I can do live tracking and live stat work, say in Valorant. I can look down at my iPad and I've been, keeping score like you would at a softball game.
Mhm.
Um, I'm like, okay, well, they're 80% on site B for this one. And they've never repeated A more than once. So they went A last time. They called a timeout. They're going to go B again. They're probably going to do this rush. And here's their success rate. So, and then I'll look at the other stats. So when we get first blood, um, we've won 92% of those rounds. So if they go B, get first blood. Like those kinds of things, the stats in the moment, we do that with AI. But um, the the thing that we need them to do, um, uh, AI doesn't necessarily help with right now. Like we need our players to focus. AI doesn't tell if they're focused, right? We need them to be round by round, like it has a life and a history of its own. But they need to be unaffected by success or failure. They need to be never satisfied. They need to do their job. We need to be well prepared. So AI can help us a little bit with that. We need to be committed. That's definitely something that you observe and you demonstrate. And they need to be disciplined. And we define what that discipline looks like in practice and in games. I just sounded pretty football coachy, isn't it? And it is those things that make us successful. And at the end of the year, especially when we're on stage for championships, discipline is the only thing that matters, right?
Right.
Preparation and commitment get you to that place, and then you've
Mhm.
got to be disciplined to do your job, not to try to do something that's crazy, not to do something that's too much. You perform your role to the best of your ability in technique and comms, and that's the moment that makes the difference, whether you raise a trophy or you watch your opponent do it.
Mm.
I love that.
Mhm.
It's a good
Yeah,
good way to think about it.
AI helps speed a lot of our I say our business processes, helps us take a list of players and go, okay, well, who do we need to focus on um, recruiting this week? Anybody who's hasn't done this in this much time, or as we're preparing for opponents, to take a whole bunch of game data and come up with some. There is. I'll give you one AI good AI answer. I mean, it's just mathematics, and large language models do mathematics pretty well, and they help us speed through some things. So we have a something that we're concerned about in the scouting process. And Steve Belichick, who's Bill Belichick's dad, wrote a scouting book called Football Scouting Methods. Here we go with the football story again. The One of the things that book says, I can't boil down the whole book, but essentially, you focus on, you scout information that is usable, not useful, not interesting, not compelling, but usable. Things that help you make a decision one way or another. We run a process called advantage delta, which is a mathematical process finding the delta of advantage when you compare two sets of things. So we look at our map preparation and our map win rate in Valorant versus an opponent's map win rate, map practice rate. All that data is available, and we come up with what we think an advantage delta is. So we're getting in picks and bans, and we know we don't want to play this, and we think they probably want to play this. So what what's the one that we have a better, we've got two maps. We've got Pearl and we've got, let's say Split. Well, our advantage delta on Split against Ohio State might be 62%. Like you can loosely translate 62%. We input all this data, and then we look at it. But what AI did for us is built a clever little tool so we can put in the advantage delta for all the maps against the opponent. And the little HTML5 app that we built will allow us to practice the pick and ban process, right? And it'll give us a little bit of variance to see that they do different things so that we can in advance work through the problem and not make guesses. Like, here's our plan, and let's just go through it a couple more times. Okay, yep, and it's okay. We won the draft again because we wanted this. Okay, well, they won the draft this time because we didn't ban this first, and they got to pick first. Okay, so if we just get to work through those things. That's something that AI helps us do to be better prepared. Again, that how you find success competitively is you're properly prepared, you have committed players and coaches, and you're disciplined when you absolutely have to be. So, sorry, it sounds pretty football-y, but that really is the way we have to think about some of those things related to AI. It is not going to scout for us. It does not replace eyeballs.
Right.
That's amazing. I never knew that there would be so much kind of like data and statistics in the strategy. So that's really interesting. That kind of might sort of answer my next question, which was, with how quickly technology and the gaming industry is moving, the AI, the VR, everything is happening so fast. How do you, and I'm sure your players, these young people are also great arbiters of, what's happening on all these innovations. How do you keep the program moving forward with the pace of the technology in the industry?
I mean, motivation is an important part, right? We set goals for ourselves in how we want to prepare. We want to be certain places and compete for certain things. And so the games do a really good job of regulating the community. And if a game is healthy, Overwatch is healthy again. League of Legends is healthy, but there's not a huge community. Valorant is a very healthy community. Rocket League is pretty healthy, not bad for a game that's still built on Unreal 3, but I mean, here, let me ask you this way: is there a deeper question in that? It's a broad one. I mean, but I can speak generally about how we think about the way things change. But
I have a better, I have a
I
better
want to pick
one.
an angle. I want to pick an angle. So I'm not just
Yes,
speaking general.
I have a better one, and this will be a last question from me before we get to some more fun ones. So, kind of taking that same thought, you know, where do you think the collegiate esports scene is going to be, and what is it going to look like in the next few years? That might be a better way with
Yeah.
everything that's going on in the pace of the industry.
So I think a handful of things, and some of this may be spicy, some of it not. In the very beginning, we all had to circle our wagons, right? We were part of NACE. I have nothing but good things to say about NACE. We enjoyed that experience very much. It gave us a family where here on our campus, well, are you a part of something? Who do you play? Oh, yes, the National Association of Collegiate Esports, and here's who we play. But in that process, we were playing some schools that just did not resonate on campus. St. Clair, Maryville, amazing schools, amazing directors, amazing programs. They do not move the needle on my campus. Oregon State, one state over. Oh, you guys are playing Oregon State or Colorado State? What's this about? Right? We get lots of interest. We discovered not long after getting moving in those that the schools that mattered for a football school were other football schools. That's why we play in the Power Esports Conference with Michigan State, Ohio State, Syracuse, Nebraska, Minnesota. Let's see if I can do it. Kansas, Baylor, Utah, and us. I don't think I forgot anybody. I think I got everybody. Those are all football schools that are in our neighborhood, so to speak, right? I think moving forward, there will be more gathering of familiar relationships, historic rivalries. The big esports conference does that. The Big 12 is trying to, match their esports with their, their other sports. And I think that will be the trend and the movement. I also think, and I think this is okay, I think that we will see schools who thought they could earn a lot of money with esports, a lot of these small Division two, Division three, which I won't mention, we're starting to see some of those programs close down because they tried to build something that wasn't sustainable where they were. They didn't try to build a student thing. They tried to build a championship powerhouse without putting any big money into it, just giving away some scholarships and hoping for the best, right? I think that we'll see some of those diminish, and I think that's okay. Because that'll allow the community in those colleges to build something more sustainable, right? Something where every student can come in and use that room, not just the 5 students you recruited and are on scholarship, right? I think we're going to see a lot more of that. So to boil it down, what does the future hold? I think you're going to see more traditional rivalries being favored by schools. That does leave a couple of schools out who don't have them, right? But there's always big organizations who want to help with that. I also think that we're going to see conferences sustaining their own structure versus asking for the publishers to do it. It's not sustainable to ask Riot or Blizzard or Epic Psionic to always underwrite these massive tournaments for you, right? They'll stand them up occasionally, they'll support them, but I think eventually that the schools and sponsors are paying into these big events. And I think that's much healthier. We just got back from the PEC Championship, 9 schools in Las Vegas. That's fully funded by that group. It was an unbelievable experience. And 4 different schools won 4 different titles across those games. Super healthy. We don't need support to do that. The schools can stand that up and make it what it needs to be. So that's a very long answer to a very simple question, but more traditional rivalries, I think, more self-supported structure, long-term health.
No, I love that. It sounds great, and it's great to see, even more ways for people to go to college if that's something they want to do.
Yep.
So I think
Yeah.
overall it's net positive.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. And before I
We got
jump into
rapid
those
fire. Okay.
before I jump into those, I have another quick question for you. I'm sorry, I'm going to make this go a little bit longer than planned, but for younger folks getting into the gaming industry and they're really interested in going to school and playing the new, esports type of programs, what suggestions or what advice would you give them to kind of transition into that? Because traditionally, right, you hear the parents are like, oh, you're playing too many video games. Go read a book, go do your homework, something like that. But what advice would you give them?
There's 2 pieces of advice that were given to me. I wish I could draw credit back to them that I think are really valuable. One is study with whom you want, not just what you want, right? If a program has a thing, who? Because you become part of that person's professional network. So if I were a high school kid right now, I wanted to be in the games industry. Maybe I was interested in the production side, but I definitely wanted to work for a big publisher. I would call AJ Dimmick at Utah because their program has this incredible process where you go in with EA, and they have a number of other relationships. I think they have a Nintendo relationship as well. Somebody I trust a ton. If I have a child, a grandchild who wants to do that, that's a connection that I would make. If I wanted to be a broadcaster, I would come here, or I'd go to Syracuse, or right where I know I could get reps with talented people teaching me how to do the esports gig really well. So the who, I think, is important. The other piece of it is that understand right now that if you want to be successful in anything, it is going to take a certain amount of unhealthy obsession. You're going to have to think about it a lot, right? You can't just go to your classes, fill up your schedule, get your midterms in, and then get your degree and suddenly stand out. You've got to, wherever you go, you've got to dive in and be obsessive about what you want to accomplish. Successful people are always a little bit, you know, Jeremiah Dickey says it really well. They don't have, work-life balance. They just have priorities, right? There are
Yeah, I've
things
heard
that
that.
have priorities at different times. Work-life balance is a misnomer. Um, it's just where you place your priorities. And so a little bit of obsession can really help, especially if you want to do a thing, become a thing, learn about a thing. And then the third piece of it is be willing to come to the understanding that what you thought you wanted, once you understand what it really is, may not be the thing you thought you wanted. And so pivot. Don't
Yeah.
be afraid to pivot. My first 3 years in college, I was a music composition major. I love music composition. I wanted to be a film composer. I wanted to compose for TV. Um, and then I met my beautiful wife, Allie. We got married, and I'm like, oh, that's not the life I want now. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a coach. I want to do I want that kind of life. And um, you have to give yourself the ability to discover what's really there, because what you think something is and what something actually is, you only find out when you've really done the work to dive into that world. Uh, and most coaches will tell you it's not glamorous at all, right? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of getting frustrated people to be less frustrated and play together. And your finish line, so there are many of them, right? Might just be, oh, we just got to get through Thursday, and we just got to get through our map without these two being mad at each other, right? There's a lot of those kinds. It's not glamorous at all. So um, you got to give yourself space to find those things. Hopefully that answers the question. I think that's really important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's super valuable. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so let's jump into those rapid fire questions. So they're designed to be quick question, quick answer. Feel free to elaborate if you want to. First question, favorite video game or gaming memory?
Um, so I come from the arcade generation, so just being handed some quarters at a pizza parlor and going in and playing Lunar Lander or Donkey Kong or Pac-Man or Tron was one of my absolute favorites back then. Still a great game. Um, I'll give you one good memory. I remember at 13 being in Disneyland when they had the Starcade there. I actually have a token from the Starcade. Going in and seeing an entire row of Tron machines and thinking I'd gone to heaven as a 13-year-old. So there you go.
That's awesome. I love that. One tool or technology that you can't live without.
You know what? I'm gonna say a headset like this. I've got to be in comms all the time. I've got to be on my feet and mobile. Um, I use an A50 here. This is an A50. I've got another white A50 that I can walk around the facility with.
Oh,
You see most photos of me at work with a headset either around my neck. I can't live without a headset.
very cool.
That's a very
Big,
coach look.
It's
I was thinking the same
utility.
thing.
I mean, some of the young bucks, they'll put in their AirPods and they'll sit there with their phone and they'll unmute it, and I'm like, I need to be able to just and then get back in.
Oh,
I need
that's
to be able
cool.
to mute out my frustration.
Yeah, yeah. That with the announcer voice, I think you've got the whole persona going on. All right. Biggest trend in gaming or AI that excites you?
Wow. Um, the next one. Um, right? I'm like dialing in on these. I mean, genuinely, the things that are getting me excited right now. I've been doing a lot of little projects with like code, just quick coding using AI. Fixing some of my problems, fixing formulas and spreadsheets for me where I just don't have the depth of knowledge. I know what I want. That really is the so I'd say just quick coding in AI. I know what I want. I know what I want it to look like. Now let me tell it and then zhuzh it to get it to do what I want. Really helps me. If I didn't have, especially in Valorant, my iPad where I could just kind of live score a game, I would have to come up with something else to do with my mind and my mouth. Um, it's a pacifier in a sense. Yeah, I get good info out of it. I get a little bit more info than maybe the person on the other side, but it gives me something to do. So that is the trend that just excited. Yes. Yeah.
Very cool. What's one skill esports players or professionals will need much more of in the next 3 to 5 years?
This is a hard one. I think that in spades they have comms. They don't have good comms. I think they need more good comms. I think a skill that all really highly competitive people need to develop is forgiveness and a little bit of grace. Um, we cultivate that. We look for that, but we also cultivate that in our folks and really kind of help them set it up because there's lots of things you're going to work with lots of folks you don't like. Let's get some practice now while you're on our team to find a way to like and to bring that person closer to you. You don't have to be besties forever, but you kind of got to be pretty close now, right? So I think that's a skill, just empathy, um, forgiveness, grace, wrapped up into one.
Very good. Yeah, those are very human skills. So I
Yeah.
love that. And last one from me. If you weren't coaching and building the Boise State esports program, what would you be doing? Anything.
Oh, I'm going to stare off into space and just think romantically about what I'd like to be doing. Um, um, I mean, I would teach in a classroom again. I'd do grades again. I maybe in the last couple of years, I've got probably another 10 years, I think, of coaching before I would let me do a couple of years in the classroom. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think classroom teaching. Although every time we go to Hawaii, the first thought in my mind is I will quit today and I will work at this gas station as a cashier. I just want to live here. I just want to live in Hawaii. So Boise State is pretty safe. I'm probably going to retire here, but hear me out. If any of the small colleges on any of the Hawaiian Islands need a super haole coach, I'm your guy. Not really, though.
Very cool.
All of our grandchildren are local here. We're not allowed to leave.
Just vacation, right?
Well, my
Yeah,
wife has
vacation.
said, I mean, I've been offered positions here or there. My wife, Allie, we've been married 33 years, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, honey, I will support you in whatever you want to do, and if you want to go to insert SEC school, you should jump at it, and I will try to visit as often as possible."
Ooh, she's honest.
She's the best.
I love it. I love
That's
it. Well,
awesome.
oh my gosh. Doc, I think your perspective on, how you've built this top program and your approach to, these developing these players and the way that you lead them really shows how one can create lasting success in a program like this. So we really appreciate you coming on and sharing
You bet.
your journey. And I
Thank
think
you.
it was great.
You guys crushed this.
Yeah,
It's
this is
awesome.
fun.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
Thank you
you.
for the
You
work that
crushed
you
it.
do. I mean, seriously, I mean,
Very cool.
it is not easy to gather people together and to source all I mean, it's not easy to do what you do, but there are people who look forward to this. Your listeners look forward to this, and they just need this interaction with you just to, okay, get me through another couple of weeks. Okay, it's so valuable, and it's not lost on me how hard it is to do this, right? It's hard. So thank you for the work that you do to sustain this community, because I mean, I can't do it from my position. Only you can keep us motivated and focused on what we can control. Let's find a little positive and let's move forward. You do that for us. So thank you.
Oh, appreciate that. Thank
Oh,
you so
You
thank
much.
bet.
you. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Doc. That
absolutely.
was so kind.
It's the truth.
I just wanted to say for our audience, if anyone enjoyed this episode, you can find Game Changers, The Future of Play on Spotify, YouTube, and on our website, sicuraqs.ai. And you can find more details in the caption. Thank you so much, Doc.
You bet.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.